Hello everyone, this video is a quick review of motor control centers and we will do it on the basis of certain problem based review of motor control center. So as you can see, there is one diagram and there are certain questions. Let us see what are the relationships between the higher motor control centers of the CNS are shown. So what is this relationship between the higher motor centers? Can you fill in the blanks? Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. What are these numbers? In number 1, what will come? Number 2, what will come? Number 3, 4, 5. What you have to do is just pause this video for a while and analyze what can fill in, what can fit in these areas. Then we'll go to the what is the role of cerebral cortex in motor control and how the cortical centers are organized. Okay, so once you fill in, you will understand even the role of cerebral cortex. And the third clinical based question is intentional tremors and ataxia are most likely an indication of which damage. So we'll deal with which part of this can cause ataxia and intentional tremors. So pause the video, analyze these questions and then we'll jump into the answer. Okay, so it's now time to fill in the blanks. First thing, higher motor control centers. So here at the top is the cerebral cortex. The second is basal ganglia. The number 1 spot is basal ganglia. Number 2 spot is thalamus. And number 3 spot here is brainstem. Number 4 spinal cord. Number 5 cerebellum. What is the basis of this thing? As you can see, cerebral cortex, this give rises to our corticospinal tract. The arrow coming here directly into the spinal cord. Number 4 here is our spinal cord. So this one giving rise to the corticospinal tract. As we discussed in our previous videos, this is the direct communication of cortex to the spinal cord and it is the corticospinal tract. But apart from the corticospinal tract, the cerebral cortex also give rise to further supplies. The second supply, as you can see here, is to the brainstem. What is the supply? It is cortico-rubral tract, cortical supply to the vestibular nuclei, for the reticular nuclei. So these are the cortical supply to the brainstem. Then coming to the cortical supply to number 1, what is this? The basal ganglia. The basal ganglia is involved in the initiation, powerful initiation of the movement. So this, as we have studied earlier, the cerebral cortex also supplies to the basal ganglia, and from there the basal ganglia sends the signal back to the cerebral cortex, which helps the cerebral cortex to initiate the movement with the help of sending the communication downwards with these tracts. So that is the role of basal ganglia. What does it do? It receives the signal from cerebral cortex, processes it, sends it to the thalamus, and from thalamus it comes back to the cerebral cortex so that the cerebral cortex can powerfully initiate the movement to the descending tracts, either to the brain stem or to the spinal cord directly. In major cases, spinal cord directly. From here arises the alpha motor neuron as a motor output which supplies to the muscle. Now coming to the other important aspect, as you have seen, this is the brain stem. It acts as the output and as well as the input signals. That means the motor output also goes. In case of red nucleus, the rubrospinal tract goes. In case of reticular formation, reticulospinal tract. In case of vestibular nuclei, vestibulospinal tracts goes out to the spinal cord as a descending tract from the brain stem, and the sensory input also comes from the spinal cord to the brain stem, which can then be relayed to the thalamus or also gives the sensory input to the cerebellum. Now looking at the cerebellum, what is its function? The cerebellum has major control functions through the brainstem. The brainstem, vestibular nuclei, the reticular nuclei. Through these nuclei, cerebellum parts is function. What is the function of cerebellum? Cerebellum's function is coordination of movement. How does it coordinates the movement, it receives the sensory signal, analyzes it whether what has been commanded by the cerebral cortex is being performed or not by the help of these input signals, the afferent copy and the efferent copy. And then if there is any mismatch between the command from the cerebral cortex and the actual function performed in the muscle, if there is any mismatch, then the cerebral cortex will send signal first through the brainstem itself, and second through the thalamus to the cortex, and from cortex back to the spinal cord. So that is how the cerebellum hints or suggests the brainstem or the cortex to manipulate or to improve their control or improve their signals to perform the accurate function what is desired. So that is the role of cerebellum here, and that is how it does. This is a simple question. Second question was there. The cortex plans voluntary movements and executes them by processing processing and process after processing by the other regions of the brain, which are primary motor cortex, premotor cortex and supplementary motor cortex. We have studied them in detail in our video lecture. Then coming to the third question, that which part of the brain is responsible for intentional tremors and ataxia. Ataxia and intentional tremors are mostly the cause for these symptoms is cerebellum. The cerebellar damage is the one which is responsible for intentional tremors and ataxia. So that is the answer for the clinical question. I hope this would help you to understand and revise your concept in a fast way. Thank you for watching this video.